You have to think that this fan base is very spoiled, especially the younger people. Like
That
I
have never
remember
seen the bad years.
exactly. I've seen Rico Fata and Chris Beach. Okay,
I was just thinking those names. I think we all
yeah.
think those names.
Unfortunately, they're like the post. They literally were the poster boys. I was trying to remember that poster. I think they called it the X
Oh my,
Generation or something
the
like
X
that.
generation. It had the pigeon logo on it.
Oh. I mentioned I wish they would bring the pigeon logo back, and people want to kill me. Like that's when they were bad. Shut up.
Well, the pigeon logo goes with the diagonal Pittsburgh though, so it kind of comes together.
Oh my god, that is my favorite. I need to get a jersey of that. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Donut Bag, part of the Pulse Podcast Network and the Pod Hub Network. In this episode, I welcome back Angie Carducci from InsideHockey.com about what's going on with the Penguins. They're at the All-Star break, and things are not going so great. A lot of questions surrounding them, and we try to cover them all. The Donut Bag starts right now. We are at the break, and the NHL All-Star game is this weekend. So, talk about the Penguins with welcome back Angie Carducci from InsideHockey.com. How are you?
I'm great, Joe. How are you?
I'm good. We've been talking before we started recording, and we were all fired up about all kinds of things. So let's get into that before we talk about the Penguins. Let's talk about our buddy Pierre McGuire. Oh man! So they had the skills competition last night. And so Kendall Coyne, she wasn't originally supposed to be on it, but I think there was an injury to McKinnon, and they said, hey, why not bring her on? Is that what happened?
Yeah. Actually had her be a participant instead of, for a couple of years now, they've been doing this thing where they have some of the, the women from the national teams demonstrate some of these events and show their skills. And this year, for the first time, setting some history, they had Kendall Coyne actually be a participant in the event. So pretty exciting there. Have her compete right alongside these men and, show what she could do and compare her time to them. So really be a direct competitor. So very exciting stuff. So she subs in for Nate McKinnon and does extremely well, and in fact beats one of the guys. And I thought what was interesting is I feel like her height plays a disadvantage because I felt like her skating seemed so much faster than a couple of the guys, but maybe her strides are a little shorter,
right.
And she has to work a little bit harder, to make those strides. And a couple of them seemed a little more effortless, maybe just because of the longer legs and having the bigger stride. So it would be interesting to see, what she could do with kind of similar height competitors. But she did a fantastic job and left no doubt in my mind that she can compete. She's not just fantastic for a woman, she's a fantastic hockey player, very, very skilled.
Right. Connor McDavid said when she took off, I thought she might have won the way she was moving. I think she was like the first one too. So, and I think I saw that she didn't even have any, like, it was like a last minute thing, like, hey, hurry up and get over here. And she didn't even have any, a warm up or anything like that. So yeah, that's fun. But it wasn't all happiness. Pierre McGuire goes to interview her and grabs her by the hip or something, or like shoos her away, or I don't know what was going on.
Yeah, so she's kind of talking to the guys at the bench. I think it was in the direction of talking to Connor McDavid at the time, and Pierre McGuire kind of skates up behind her. And the way that he sort of scurries her along is, grabs her by the hips and sort of skates her along and shoos her along. So first of all, let's ignore the blatantly obvious for a second. Like, don't shoo Kendall Coyne along.
Yeah.
Like, she's a 6-time gold medalist, 5 times in the World Championships, won the U.S. gold medal. this last time. So, let's let her talk to Connor McDavid as long as she wants. So go away, Pierre, like really. And then it just felt very condescending, the way he handled that. But secondly, hard to imagine him doing that with any male player kind of coming up,
Exactly.
grabbing him in that way. Like, what are you doing? And it just really made me shake my head. And you kind of have to feel like the reason he feels like that's okay is that nobody's going to say anything. And, I haven't seen that many people talking about it. I saw one guy do a screen capture of the moment and make a little video of it and post it. And that looks like that's been pretty well viewed, but I've seen very few people talking about it. So I think he gets away with it. Nobody calls him on it. NBC probably won't do anything about it. And so he thinks he's fine, and he's probably right. So what impetus does he have to do anything different? And just really not very respectful to a person who is that accomplished. And it just really made me shake my head. And an incredible moment for women's hockey, for Kendall Coyne in particular last night. And Pierre just comes along and inserts himself in the moment and just makes it kind of ugly.
Yeah, and apparently he said to her or someone else, like, "Oh, they don't want to lose to her." Like, that's just so rude.
Well, he's interviewing one of the other participants. I forget who it was, and said something like, get out there and compete well. You don't want to lose to her. And what kind of attitude is this? Like, what year are we in? Like, oh, well, you wouldn't want to lose to the girl. And what I find so funny is so here we are, and earlier in the weekend at the All-Star game, in fact, I saw a Twitter friend of mine who covers the San Jose Sharks talking about how they're expanding the concept of hockey is for everyone next year. It's not just going to be about the Pride Month or the one Pride event. There's going to be several, or the African American history. They're going to do several different events. There's going to be a women's event. The teams are going to be responsible for executing these, but with the support of the NHL. So they're going to try to expand this to more of a year-round program to make more people feel included and acknowledge that their fan base is ever expanding to include different demographics and, really make everyone feel like they're welcome. So on one hand, you say that, and on the other hand, you have this sort of, awkward behavior by Pierre McGuire saying, well, you sure wouldn't want to lose to a girl.
Right.
And then, I read some tweets and I wasn't able to find attribution for where this was actually happening, but I heard that a few players were in fact ribbing Clayton Keller from the Arizona Coyotes, who's a really gifted hockey player and shouldn't really be being teased by anybody, but making fun of him for, in fact, being the one player that did finish behind Kendall Coyne, making fun of him for that. So here we are, and it's hockey culture. It's perfectly acceptable to do that. And, those kind of little, it sounds like, okay, just little casual jokes about losing to a girl, but this kind of stuff all makes people feel unwelcome, makes them feel a little less. And it's not really cool. And it kind of, to me, butts up right against the hockey is for everyone concept. Are you trying to make people feel included or not? And if you are, then maybe let's try to work on this kind of stuff.
And it's not just, it's bad that they're doing this, but just the national announcers and the commentators that they have in the NHL, it's just really a problem. They just do not do a good job of promoting the sport. Or, I mean, hey, I know as a Penguin fan, I'm gonna think this, but it sure seems like not so much Pierre McGuire, but Milbury, Jeremy Roenick, they really have an axe to grind with the Penguins in general, and Sidney Crosby in particular.
They do, but I think what's worse about it really, and last night, let's add to sort of the slight against the women's skills they're trying to supposedly showcase. They broke away from one of the women demonstrating one of the skills to show this little, package with Jeremy Roenick. Just what the world wants to see is more of Jeremy Roenick, I'm pretty sure.
Right.
So, I mean, dear
Ugh.
God, what are we doing? I just don't feel like they have a very good pulse on what people want to see, because I really don't feel like the viewing public loves who they have. Like, I feel like that sentiment about Roenick and, Mike Milbury is a pretty common sentiment, and not just it's not just a Penguins fan thing. I follow lots of fans of other teams, and I think it's a pretty general consensus. People are not really big fans. And I think the big problem is that you just have these really old school hockey guys here, and with these kind of antiquated takes on things. And maybe it's time to bring in some new blood that see the sport in a little different of a way. And to me, that's a big part of the problem.
That's so true. It's that mentality of this player, Tom Wilson knocked somebody out. Oh, that's good old time hockey. Yay. Let's
Oh,
hard hitting hockey. Yay.
he just got his bell rung. He'll be fine. There's no concussion issue.
Yeah. Yeah. He just got his bell rung. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah. Walk it off.
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable that in 2019, this is still where we are. Like,
Yeah.
on so many levels, I shake my head with this league. And when that's your national broadcast and the voices in your national broadcast, it's just, incredibly baffling to me, but it perpetuates it and perpetuates that's, sort of the voice of the sport. Those are who your mouthpieces are for the league at this point, and really not moving anything forward.
I love your tweet last night. Idea: winners get to not talk to Pierre. That's part of the prize.
Well, they went to it was right after the goalie competition, and I was so excited because I don't think it's any secret I enjoy watching the New York Rangers a lot, and really love Henrik Lundqvist, and was so excited to see him win that competition. And then they said, "Oh, let's go to Pierre." I'm like, "Oh man, don't do this! Don't do this to this guy. He just had a great performance. He deserves better." Like,
hasn't he suffered enough?
Yeah, seriously, he has to go back to the Rangers after this. Like, let's not do this to him too.
Yeah.
Oh
But
boy.
on to the Penguins. Man, things are not great. You wrote in InsideHockey.com that Penguins are searching for a clear identity, but they did not end before the break. They did not end things well. Where are we at with the Penguins right now? I mean, you say that they're what is the Penguins' identity? What should it be?
Well, I think what Mike Sullivan is getting at when he says that, and that's what he told his players before the break. And that's where I got that headline from, was he told the players, "I hope you enjoy the break. I think it's a good time to get away from the game for a little bit. When we come back, we need to be a team that is hard to play against." And I think he keeps saying that. And I think that is the thing that consistently eludes them this season. You never know which version of this team is going to show up. Is it going to be a team that's hard to play against, or is it a team that's going to show up like that night in San Jose on this trip? To me, the Penguins are coming off a 2-day break at that point. If there's one game on that road trip you would think the Penguins would be up for, that's the game. Like, that is a Stanley Cup contending team that you're facing in San Jose. You should be so excited to face that team, sort of a measuring stick game, and go in there and just show them what you're all about, and show them that you're still a Stanley Cup contender yourself. And instead, I feel like the Penguins showed up and just, barely registered a pulse during most of that game. Just really didn't show up with a whole lot of, just a whole lot of energy, and really just didn't put forth the effort that I think they have the kind of team that they're capable of being. And those are also words I keep hearing from Mike Sullivan is, we just haven't shown the kind of team that we're able to be. And I think he's been right for large portions of this season. So I keep sort of defending this team. Like, I think it can get better. I think they're going to do better. And with like about 30